allowed to. They called Zoom and they were like, "Hey, we're full of people. Can you expand the amount of people that can be on Zoom?" And they were like, "Yeah, for you we can." I was like, "Fuck yeah, that's awesome." Anyway, all right, let's count down. 3, 2, 1. Hello, hello, Kill the Bottle Podcast. That is more, aka the Yum Yum Foodie. As always, Señorita Megan is here with me.
Hi.
Yeah, Señorita in Spanish is like a really nice way of saying young lady.
Is
So
it?
it's a compliment every time I call you Señorita.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is called
It's
Kill the
better
Bottle
than
Podcast.
ma'am.
That's fair.
I get ma'am all the fucking time.
Well, I mean, whatever. Be prepared. It is called Kill the Bottle Podcast. We have a very special guest today, and we'll get to that in just a second. But it is, what are we drinking, Megan? We are drinking classic Hemingway daiquiris. Classic Hemingway daiquiris named after the famed writer Ernest Hemingway. And for you folks who want to make a Hemingway daiquiri at home, let me give you the recipe right quick so then you can pause, go make that shit, and then come back and listen. It is 2 ounces of white rum. I am using a Caribbean-style rum, y'all. Don't put some
Why does it
agricole
have
in
to be
there.
white?
Listen, because it's a racial.
Racist
Ernest
rum.
Hemingway was white.
Oh,
Okay, that's
why.
why. If it was the Martin Luther King daiquiri, it would be an aged dark rum, but it's not. Anyway, so it is. I'm using Havana Club Añejo Blanco, so I'm using an aged white rum. But try a Spanish style rum, guys, if you want to go with the traditional Hemingway recipe. And then it's gonna call for 3/4 of an ounce of lime, and then 1/2 an ounce of lime juice, guys, freshly squeezed. If you got it, please. If you have to use the store-bought stuff, I get you. But if you have some limes around, throw it down. It doesn't take much to get 1/2 an ounce in there. Or, excuse me, 3/4 of an ounce, and then 1/2 an ounce of grapefruit juice. So 2 ounces of rum, 3/4 of an ounce of lime, 1/2 an ounce of fresh grapefruit juice. Give that sucker a shake, strain, and do a coupe glass, and that's what we have right here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ernest Hemingway, because he was a severe alcoholic and a diabetic. And this recipe was designed. Oh, fuck me. I'm forgetting one ingredient. I'm so sorry, guys. You paused it. You're going to come back now after making your drink and be like, Eddie, fuck, I didn't put this in there. 1/2 an ounce of Luxardo Maraschino cherry liqueur. Reason being is because Hemingway was a diabetic, and instead of putting simple syrup, they used to put maraschino cherry liqueur up in that thing. Why? Because it doesn't have the same level of sugar on your glycemic index. Therefore, he could drink a lot and
well, that's all we have time for.
not
Thanks.
fuck with his insulin. Anyway, Megan, I wanted to give you a second to vent about your experience with Verizon.
I'm done.
You're done with Verizon? Because I've been following this
our
saga.
guest isn't sponsored
it's
by
a saga.
Yeah. Are we sponsored by Verizon?
No,
Not
they
yet.
won't be sponsoring us, which is why I'm like, Megan, vent about it. Vent about that shit now.
You can't
real
ride
quick.
at this stuff. Like all this stuff. I went in to get a new phone and new internet because Spectrum's prices went up. And Spectrum for out here is our internet, and their mobile service too. And he was like, it's gonna be great. You're gonna love the internet. We're gonna give you a business plan. It's gonna be a little cheaper. And you're gonna get a new phone, and it's gonna be a little cheaper. And I was like, great. He's like, you're gonna love it. I've had the service for 2 days. I'm sorry, that's speaking too much. I've had nothing for 2 days.
Yeah.
Internet doesn't work. I've called. They're like, all you have to do is plug it in, and it doesn't work.
Yeah, I saw them. They sent you some like R2D2 looking unit with like a bunch of fucking antennas sticking out. And I mean, it looked like they sent you a garbage can with antennas, like a little.
It feels like that.
Yeah, it is a garbage can.
And then my phone number wasn't transferred correctly. So I couldn't access, like, in order to get to any account, bank accounts, to sign up for your My Verizon account for the app, it's like, here's your recovery text to your phone number. And I didn't have access to my phone number.
That's
so
amazing.
When my phone turned on yesterday and I told you to stop texting me because I got like 100 ding.
And what did I do?
Ding,
I started texting her.
me memes. That was awesome.
Okay.
Anyway, so
let's turn this positive.
Go onto my Instagram and watch all my Verizon stories right now.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not worried about Verizon wanting to sponsor us anyway because I'm a T-Mobile guy and Verizon can fuck right off. But we have to go now to a positive note because we have a super fun guest here on Kill the Bottle podcast. She is an all-around badass. She is a WWE wrestler. She can, I guess, kick all of our asses within, I don't know, how much time, Megan, really quickly?
Then like just a second.
Like she already kicked our ass, actually. I don't know how I'm still speaking.
She's looking at us. I'm scared.
She's looking at us, and we're slightly intimidated here. But we want to welcome, but she's also an actor as well. Let's be clear. She's an all-around badass. We want to welcome to Kill the Bottle podcast, Miss Danielle Kamela. Hello.
Hello. Thanks for having me, guys.
Hi. Thank you for being here.
I already have a gripe though. You didn't tell me that you were drinking these cocktails. I could have gotten the ingredients and mixed one up and had one with you
To
guys.
be completely honest with you, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna drink wine today, and it is a thou. I mean, you're an Arizona person, correct? Yeah.
Yes.
So
So
you
yeah.
understand heat. We're in Pasadena right now, and it is 1,000. It's like the surface of the earth of the sun. Excuse me, right now. And I was like, you know what? Fuck that shit.
We need something cold.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I don't even know. I wasn't
That's
sure I
on
was
Megan.
gonna. Yeah, I wasn't sure I was gonna drink today because I was nauseous all morning.
I asked her
So
if she was pregnant, and
you have to have sex to be pregnant.
but I mean, maybe it was immaculate. Maybe she doesn't remember. I mean, there's many options.
Jesus wants nothing to do with me.
That's fair. So Danielle, welcome to Kill Bottle Podcast. I also saw I may have perused or stalked your Instagram. Are you doing some comedy as well?
I am. So
That's awesome.
yes, I have dabbled before. I hosted a show, had probably like 4 minutes of an opening. So that was my first experience. And now I'm stepping back on the stage for the second time. So I'm really excited. But I mean, comedy is just, I mean, it's unlike anything else, I could say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's probably I think people are being more afraid of getting up on stage and doing comedy than dying.
Yeah.
I would think. That's probably.
Are you pretty comfortable on stage?
I am because I feel like with wrestling, you want a reaction from the crowd. So when you're first starting out, you suck, and the crowd can be dead silent during some of your matches. So you're kind of used to that. So my whole thing is like, if I get up and bomb and no one laughs and it's silent, like whatever, I've already experienced that.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can always kick their ass, I guess. I mean, if somebody heckles you, you can fucking pile drive them and put them in a sleeper hold, I guess, and just take them down, I guess.
True. I should
No?
threaten them before the show starts.
I mean, that's probably the most effective thing.
Put them in a really good mood.
Yeah.
Yes, there you go.
Laugh or else. That should be your move. Did you always want to be a wrestler when you were a kid?
No. I mean, I grew up a wrestling fan when I was younger because I'm part Samoan and The Rock is Samoan. So we always used to watch it as kids. And I always thought the females were super badass, but I never thought like that would be a career path I would take. But yeah, I kind of fell into it actually. So
How does someone fall into wrestling?
It's an
because I know
interesting word choice.
Megan's been offered like nude mud wrestling, which is very different.
I have not been offered that.
She has not been offered that.
I would do it.
all right, let's
Verizon, if you fix her phone, she will do nude mud wrestling for you. Anyway, yeah, how do you fall into wrestling?
Well, I was living in LA at the time trying to act, and I saw this casting call for a reality TV show where you compete to win a contract with the WWE. So I never wanted to do reality TV. I was like, I'm not going to be one of those people. But if I could win a WWE contract, that would be fucking amazing. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so I tried out for the show and they're like, we don't want you for the show. You're like too normal. And I was like, I'm an actor. I'm like, if you want me to be crazy, I could be crazy.
You're too normal.
Too normal.
No one's ever said that to me.
Yeah, no. They're like, sir, can we see your credit score is way too good for this. So we can't have this.
So did you act crazy or what happened next?
No, that was literally at the end of like the tryout for the show. So I was like, okay. But they told me they wanted me to come back and for me to do an actual tryout with them. So I was like, perfect. If I don't have to like go on the show and still have a chance to get signed to be a wrestler, I'm all about that. And that's what happened. I found a wrestling school in LA to make sure I enjoyed doing it and that I could. And then I came back and tried out and then moved to Orlando a few months later.
Wow.
Is that like Mecca for? Is that like the AAA of wrestling, where when you start coming up in the ranks, you go to Orlando and train?
Yes, you could definitely call it that. They have a performance training facility there, usually where everyone starts out and you kind of learn. You can learn from the ground up or you can have other experience, but usually everyone starts in that, which is called NXT under the WWE umbrella. So
Got it. I'm always so fascinated about, when you're an actor and then you have to translate that into this physical aspect where there's this choreography. Obviously you can get hurt. What was, I guess, the biggest challenge for you when you went from acting to then incorporating that physical aspect to it?
right. Well, I grew up a competitive gymnast, so that definitely helped.
Yeah.
But what I guess for me, they were like, you're too graceful in the ring. Like you need to get scrappy. You need to, look like you're fighting. And I'm like very dancey and floaty. So that was probably my biggest struggle. And I've never been in a real fight. And I tell everyone this, I'm like, that is my number one goal in life is to be in a real fight. And it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, I've almost
I
been
feel
in
like we
fights.
could. That's a realistic goal. Like
Yeah, we
your
can
bucket,
work on that.
Your list is like my bucket list. Like everyone's like, I want to drive the golf carts that pick up the balls in the driving range. Like it's on my goal list.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, you can do that. Like that's not hard. You can even get paid for it. Like if you really wanted to.
That might be the whitest goal I've ever heard in my entire
It
life,
just looks
Megan.
like fun
Seriously.
while people are shooting at you.
Megan looking for a job at Topgolf. She's getting hit, pelted by white balls.
I'm living my dream.
So if you you know what, this is a great question. So sorry, I'm like tooting my own horn, but I'm just curious. For Megan here, let's say Megan wanted to be a wrestler.
Mhm.
And you know a little bit about Megan. You've seen her online. What would you suggest to her as far as creating a character and how to start from the ground up besides her alcoholism?
I was like, that was the main thing I was going to say. That's her character right there.
I just come on with bottles of
The
booze.
boozy, she'd be
just yelling about everything. And then that's when I just get attacked from behind because I'm not paying attention.
Yeah, it's always what it is. You get hit with a table over the head because you have
I'm
bottles of
complaining
booze.
about something.
Yeah.
No, one of my friends had a character where she was like a disgruntled bride because her wedding didn't go through. So she was always drunk. And she called herself like the hot mess. So.
Oh, yeah.
That is, Megan, we got something here.
You take out the hot.
Listen,
you got me.
It's 100 and something degrees out here, Megan. So you know what? Don't lose the hot.
Temperature hot
fair.
mess.
Whatever. Temperature hot.
Temperature hot mess. That's my character name. Boiling. Anyway.
So sorry, I always am wondering. So we get to watch shows like football shows like Hard Knocks, where you get to see like a day in the life of the training of an NFL athlete. What does the typical day in the life look like for a wrestler from when you're training to when you're performing that night?
Right. Well, when I was at the performance center, we would go in and we would get in the weight room for about an hour, and then we'd have some time to do open ring, which is where you can work on things you need to work on, and talk to different coaches and things like that. And then we would go back home, grab our bags, and drive to wherever the show is. And when I was in Orlando, we would go all over the place. So Jacksonville, Tampa, sometimes Miami, Largo. There's so many different places, and we drive to the show. You have to set up everything when you're in NXT. When you make it to like the higher levels, everyone else does that. It's like it's production, but when you're just there, you guys are doing it all. You're setting up the chairs, like you're wrestling in an armory or like a school. So, right. When you're learning, you got to pay your dues. So
what is that when you know you made it? When somebody's like, no, Danielle, I have your bags. You know what I mean? Because they talk about that in professional sports. They're like, shit, right. I didn't have to fucking carry anything. They handed me an envelope of per diem as I walk off the bus, and somebody grabbed my shit. And I just get to go swing in the batting cage. Yeah. Can you describe that first moment for you when you're like, I don't have to do this right?
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's a lot different because when you make it to like the next level, you're traveling every week, you're on an airplane, you're going to ginormous stadiums. Whereas, when you start, you're used to wrestling just in front of this local Florida crowd, and they become fans of everyone because they're diehards. So they'll come every single time you're in their city. So yeah, it's definitely different, but that's what everyone is working towards. So yeah.
Was there a regular fan that you guys knew by name that you're like, oh no, Earl's here again?
I literally was thinking Earl. I shit you not. I was about to say Earl. Sorry.
No, there was a few. I'm not going to say any names, but like they were so nice though. They were not Earl. Like creeps. Like they would like make us shirts, like bring us stuff. So they were all pretty good. Of course, you have those few that you want to avoid, but overall, they were pretty good.
Yeah, like most of Megan's DMs. Yeah. I think those are those few that you want to avoid.
I saw that. That's crazy.
It
So
started off.
for the folks who don't know what we're talking about, Megan, I don't want to say it out loud, even though I already texted you about it and I couldn't stop laughing. I texted you about your new boyfriend. Actually, yesterday I spoke to you about your new boyfriend. It's not a real boyfriend, guys. So please tell the story real
No,
quick.
it started off. I got a compliment. I was like, this is awesome. This guy's like, you're rising up in fame. I'm gonna follow you. You're gonna be dining with celebrities soon. And then he ruined it.
But what prompted him to say that? What did you post?
He was responding to a story of mine.
Responding
when I was at Taco Bell.
Oh yeah, hungover at Taco Bell. Yes,
yeah, and he's like, you're making it. First of all, that should have been the warning.
Yeah, you think?
And then he added, if I don't word this correctly.
Oh, please do, because it's so fucking funny.
Said, also, I want to do coke off your tits.
Yeah. Did he say coke or blow?
Coke.
He said coke.
And I
Okay.
was like, and we're back. And we're back.
Every time, 3 steps forward, 8 steps back.
Steps back.
It's so true. Why do weirdos do that? They'll be like, oh, so beautiful. Oh, so nice. And then have the dirtiest shit like 10 text messages later. I'm like, why? Why would I respond to that over the other ones?
I think it's the air of living in your parents' basement that will just do that. It'll prompt you to like be nice for 2 seconds and then remember you live in your parents' basement and just be a dick.
They just don't realize like there is another person on the end of those sometimes. I feel like
they don't care.
They think we're not real.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, Megan's real. She's
That she
goes through half my
He thought
booze.
I wasn't going to call my little brother to tell him that. That's it.
First of all, I know your little brother, and I can't even imagine his reaction to it.
I was like, do you get these DMs? He was like, no.
I can't even imagine the stuff you have to engage when you're on the level of being on television. And then not only that, I almost feel that predominantly the audience for professional wrestling is male. And correct me if I'm wrong. Is that something you felt like a heightened sense of security or just closing yourself off or protecting yourself once you reach that level?
Yeah, I mean, I know like there's security, of course, everywhere where anyone goes. But yeah, it is dangerous. I know a lot of times like a bunch of superstars will get approached in like the airport and things like that. And then, yeah, as a woman, there are more female fans now because professional wrestling is growing. The product is better. But I mean, yeah, men can be brutal too online. Like all they comment on is like TNA, you know what I mean? Like you could be doing like the coolest backflip and they're like, oh, nice fucking ass. Like, yeah, so it happens. You know what I mean? Like
I would take that as a compliment. Better than the ones I get where it's like, where are your eyebrows?
Well, no, because 10 comments later, they would be wanting to do cocaine off the ass. So let's be real.
I should just list all of the ones out. There's a guy that's obsessed with my eyebrows because I plucked them off when I was like 12 and they've never really grown back and we all draw them in now, but he's obsessed and he just always is like, your eyebrows look like shit. Your eyebrows look like shit. And the other day he came back into my DMs. He's like, you really upped your eyebrow game. I'm proud of you.
Oh my gosh.
These people. It's entertaining for me, but if someone was like, nice ass, I'd like that one too. I would like that. I don't know.
Prepare yourself for the amount of DMs you will receive after
nice
this.
Ass.
All the nice ass DMs.
Sometimes if there's a nice, not nice ass, but if they say something nice, like I'll look up their profile to see if they're cute or not.
Yeah.
And maybe they're my future.
That's crazier things have happened. Have you ever dated a fan or somebody who maybe you found out later was a fan, not a creepy fan, but somebody who was a fan?
No, and like when I was in Orlando and I was single for like a specific amount of time, I had a Bumble profile and it was like my name was fake. I wasn't trying to have any wrestling photos because most of the people in that area, you know, are wrestling fans. So no, I've never dated a fan, but that was always like a concern. Like, what if they like went to one of my shows and then saw me on Bumble and I had no idea? Yeah.
And I'm from South Florida, so I'm very familiar with the Orlando crowd. Very familiar with the Largo, the Jacksonville, the Pensacola, the Tampa crowd. So I understand your concerns.
My ex was a huge wrestling fan, like giant wrestling fan.
Which one?
The one Megan. Without a job.
Which one?
Made me sad.
Okay, I know the one without a job.
But he would always like he'd pick a wrestler if he could cheat. Remember, you have like your celebrity. If you could cheat, what
your
celebrity?
Hall pass?
Your hall pass.
Okay.
My husband's hall pass was Flo. from the insurance commercials. He was.
Wow.
What am I doing with my life?
I saw her at the park one time here in LA.
What?
You should tell him. I won't say
Reasonable
it on the
goals.
air.
We're back.
But all of a sudden he starts like camping out at a park in Studio City.
Sorry, I was just thinking about the hall pass. Who's your celebrity?
My celebrity hall pass? Oh God, let me think about it. Mm-hmm. I don't have it off the top of my head.
I don't know who mine is. Maybe Johnny Depp. Even I think he's more attainable now with all the negative press.
I mean,
so I think it could happen. No,
you won't shit in his bed.
Steve Buscemi. I have a thing for him.
Stop.
You're the one.
I do. I know. Yeah. Ever since Boardwalk Empire. Not Armageddon, Steve Buscemi.
Ever since he got punched in the face randomly and somebody ran away.
I'm in.
That really happened to him, by the way. Somebody ran up to him on the street in New York and punched him in the face and then just ran away.
I thought that was only happening to like young female TikTokers, but I guess it's happening.
I mean,
poor Steve.
He's been.
Poor Steve.
Yeah, I know. I love Steve Buscemi. I'm just kidding. Steve Buscemi is a former firefighter. He's a force of nature. So I just like to give Megan shit because you know people say Brad Pitt, people whatever. Megan's like Steve Buscemi.
You said punched in the face, and my brain just went to this. Have you ever had a serious injury from doing your job?
I broke my hand, so I have a boxer's fracture. Like it doesn't go down my pinky; it just like stays propped up like that.
Ow.
Now someone's gonna be like, "I want to do coke off her pinky." Wait for it. Wait for that DM.
Okay. I hope I don't hope it. Don't put that in there. I'm gonna get the DM.
Just DM me, guys, not her.
Yeah, please.
I'll do it. No, so you broke your hand.
Ow.
That would be awful. I've never broken a bone.
Really? Oh, well, this is my only one, but yeah, I just got kicked in the hand and it was like a freak accident. So yeah.
How did you react because you were on, right?
Yeah, I was in the middle of a match. It was actually my first match I ever had.
Oh no.
Yeah. I didn't even know it was broken and I continued to do like flips and shit on it. I was putting all this pressure on and then after I'm like, I think my hand's broken.
Okay.
Adrenaline, the best painkiller ever.
But you don't just do wrestling, you do the acting, you do the comedy. Are you doing sports commentating too?
Yes. So out of college, I worked in sports broadcasts. That was my primary focus. So I've always loved the sports industry. So yeah, I work for a few different companies doing some commentary. I do some betting content because I love sports betting. So yeah, that's a lot of fun for me too, is sports.
How did you end up in Arizona then?
Well, I was born and raised here, and then I had my job with Fox Sports Arizona after going to college here at Arizona State. And then after they dissolved the position I had was when I decided like, I'm going to go to LA. So that's how that all unfolded.
That's how we all say it. And that's how we all do it too.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm going to go to LA.
Yeah.
I'm going to follow my dreams.
Yeah. When they don't show us like you getting in the car, you're like, I'm going to LA. 4 days later, I barely got through Texas. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, can I just get to LA already? Please. And then you get to LA and you're just done.
Yeah. That first summer I called my mom. I'll never forget. Right where I live now, I call my mom. I was living out of my car and I call my mother and I'm like sitting on the side of Hollywood Boulevard. And I'm like, this place smells like pee. I'm never coming back here.
So great.
That's my first summer here.
Well, whatever.
So you went to LA.
Yeah, I kind of had not a similar experience, but I was moving in with two other girl. I'm like, well, I call them girls. I was in my 20s. I feel like woman is for my 30s. 20s was two other girls. But yeah, she had a cat and I walked into the apartment and I was like, I think I'm allergic to this cat. I just started like freaking out. I was like, I don't think I could do this, but I stuck it out for a year before I had to move to Orlando. And I think it took me the full year to finally be like, okay, I can live in LA. And then I left.
It does. I'm almost on 20 years living in LA out of Miami. And it does take this like initial, whatever it is for everybody, this like buffer.
I got my ass kicked.
For you to figure it out. But now like you're here, Megan.
I think I got it figured out.
Yeah. You do. You do got to figure it out. I'm
still getting my ass kicked, but now I just make money complaining about it.
Well, yeah, that's your gift. Your gift is complaining about doing
LA.
Well. Yeah, it's
LA
a good thing.
Kicked my ass.
I
mean, I lost my job within the first year I lived here. I lived out of my car for a while when I did that. I I pissed off a
Oh,
lot of people.
you're like Kiefer Sutherland minus the rich dad.
He
Yeah.
keeps coming up.
Yeah. Well, no, he lived out of his car. That's like
I
the
hate to bring this up, and this is really random, but I want to say it. Do you know what is a great concept for a show? Super awesome concept. Poor, what's it called?
I don't
How
know.
they did it.
Looking at me.
Designated Survivor. Have you guys watched this show?
Oh, with Kiefer Sutherland?
Yeah. I mean, it's
no.
off
You mean
now.
24.2?
It's
Yeah.
great concept. They put someone, when they have big Congress meetings, they put someone away somewhere else in case something happens and someone dies, like Congress gets blown up, and Congress gets blown up in the show.
Oh,
and
so you're the designated
he's
survivor.
the designated
Got
survivor.
it.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Great concept. Awful show. It's so bad.
Sometimes the ideas are the
I've
recipe's
watched
better
every
than
episode now, but I still
because you like the pain.
I do.
That's really what it is.
Sorry, I hate to bring that up. I was really thinking about
So,
it. What a great concept. Terrible execution.
I'm curious because as a novice, and I didn't watch wrestling as a kid. I started to watch wrestling in my college years because of The Rock. Somebody told me that this guy was just an incredible performer. I started watching in the late 90s, and I was like, this guy's freaking awesome. Wow. But at the same time, I was getting into acting at the time and trying to figure out the distinction and like dissect what a show looks like behind the scenes. What would you say is like the biggest misconception that you've noticed about the wrestling industry?
Well, I guess I could say for people who don't know, like it is a show and there are storylines that are followed, but I guess with wrestling, things change like constantly, like day of, storyline changes. You might like go in thinking you're doing one thing and then they're like, no, you're not even doing that anymore. You're not even on the show anymore. So instead of it being like if you were on, some sort of TV show, you would go in knowing like what you're going to film. It would be very like, da, 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 da. But things just change so much with wrestling, especially because people will get injured. And then what do you get to do? You have to change the whole story. So I guess that would be it.
Like, how do you juggle the balance between the professional life and the personal life? Not everybody's a wrestler, but some people have these very rigorous schedules, and I can't even fathom what your schedule was like.
Yeah.
Or is like now.
Or is like, yeah. But is it the kind of thing where you're like you sacrifice the personal life, or did you figure out a way to balance it? And were there any advice you have for that?
I mean, luckily with me, when I was with the company, I didn't get to that like level where I was constantly like gone 5 days a week. I mean, a lot of times the wrestlers will go on tour for like 2 to 3 weeks straight. So I think it's tough if you do have a family. A lot of them do have children at home and things like that. I mean, mostly the men. The women do as well, but I know like they'll let them bring kids on the road, which is really nice. But I guess like for me, balancing that out, I really enjoyed it. And when you're single, it's very easy to be like, oh, next city, next town, like this is fun. So I can't speak on that, but I'm sure the people with families and everything like that have a hard time.
I feel the same way with teaching. Like I was a teacher, and it's kind of like the same concept where everyone's like that. You don't get paid enough. You don't,
Right.
but you do, and you can really enjoy it if you don't have that family. To be honest with you, because you get paid plenty if you're by yourself, and you have all this time off to do other things when you're by yourself. So I'm not saying teachers shouldn't be paid more, but I'm just when you make that kind of choice to have that single life, which is what I'm all about. People with families would never understand the freedom, but I don't have time for a dating right now between the shows, between the jobs, and that's just a distraction at some point too for me. So it's like a conscious choice right now. It's like if I had a boyfriend, I used to just like give up everything I was doing and like focus on trying to be around them, and like, oh, this is so exciting, and life is so much more freeing for me when I'm too busy.
Well, as somebody who knows Megan pretty well, when she wasn't single, she'd be on the phone like during the show, frustrate texting. And I'd be observing this, and I'm like, ay vey. And then seeing her thrive, and and this is for anybody, guy, girl, whatever, but seeing somebody being able to acknowledge that, separate themselves for that, and then thrive within their own space and not depend on anybody else for them thriving. I think there's something to be said about that, besides you fucking arguing with Verizon on your Instagram.
Right,
So,
I know. This turned into a therapy session for me. We'll just say the last guy the minute I broke up with him, my followers went from like 2,000 to 15,000. Like,
Yeah.
because I was just focused back on stuff, and
And
it
I
makes
was
life a
nice
little
to
easier.
him. I was nice to him because of Megan, not because I wanted to be nice to him. Let's
Yeah.
clarify that.
Yeah. So you're living in Arizona. Do you live on your own at all? Or are you living like me? Or are you happy in love?
I'm actually right now living with two of my brothers. They're both entrepreneurs, so we live in like a house together, and it's
Sounds like
great.
a reality show.
It should be. I have three younger brothers, and we all do like different crazy things. So, right now it's like good. I will eventually need my own place, but I don't know if I want to stay in Arizona. So I'm kind of figuring that out. So.
It's fun to figure things out, though, like to have the time to do it. It's nice. I like
Yeah.
that. I just had a funny vision of like your parents introducing you guys to everybody and them saying like, oh, he's like, he works here and he works here and he works, and she's a professional wrestler. Wait, hold on, go back. Could you go back to that? The one girl.
Well, I love that she follows on Instagram two of my friends from Arizona.
Oh.
She follows two of my food friends. She follows Eat Drink AZ, my friend
Oh.
Melissa, who I was just on the cruise with. Melissa was on the cruise with me. And then also she follows my friend Chelsea, who's Let Me Eat This, who was also on the cruise with me. And they've both been guests on Kill the Bottle podcast. So I love that at least you're following some legit motherfuckers, some OG legit
Foodies.
They're the shit, by the way.
Travelers.
Sorry, because my homies, and I gotta give them love. And I was like, I was like, she follows two of my dogs besides Megan, who is my sister from a.
He just called me a bitch. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did. So that's what you heard. So guys know what it's like to date Megan. You say one thing, she hears 17 other things that do not pertain to what you said. Anyway.
So we do a lot of food stuff. Sorry, I didn't mean to. Did you have something?
Oh no, I was just gonna say like that. I love those two. Yeah, they're like great food bloggers here in Arizona, and I've done some influencing events with them. So they're like
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask about the food scene in Arizona. What's it like where you're at?
I feel like we have so many good restaurants here. I don't go out to eat as much as I used to, but I have like my like top places when I do. And usually it's like the expensive, the bougie type. Because if I'm going to go out, I'm going to take the time to get ready and like
go big or go home.
Yeah, do all that. And I want the stuff I know that is guaranteed to be, good. So I guess like here, my top two favorite restaurants I'd say are Ocean 44. I'm a huge seafood girl. And then I also like Maple and Ash, which is just, it's classic.
I want to say Melissa and Chelsea told me about Maple and Ash because I'm planning on getting over there at some point in the fall when it's not 1,000 degrees.
I want to go too. We could all get together.
I'm
going.
She didn't say she was going to meet up with us, Megan.
I just
thought you're just like, we're all going to get together.
Well, I told her online. I was like, I want to go see her shows. I want to go watch either the comedy or the wrestling.
No, we got to have a
curiosity. Can you? So when I played sports, I could not eat before playing. Like if I played baseball, I'd be out in center field. And I'm Cuban. If I ate rice and beans or, my typical Cuban shit, or ate some fucking Burger King or something during my high school lunch, I'd be sitting there in center field dying. Did you have any kind of routine for food when you had to compete or do a show?
Well, I used to be so nervous at my shows that I really couldn't eat anything. But now I feel like as time had gone on with my career, I kind of like was able to regulate my nerves. Obviously, like when you perform at any kind of thing, you still get those like, butterflies, but it's not to the extent when you're like first starting out and you obviously are going to suck. You have no idea what you're doing. So I feel like now I can like eat and be normal before shows and things like that.
Does anyone ever say, hey, tell us a joke?
Honestly, when I posted the thing about like comedy, people were like shook. They were like, oh, you do comedy? I'm like, I'm trying, guys. What the fuck? Like, so yeah, I'm sure I'll get that. Like you probably do all the time.
So you're a comedian? I was like, well, I'm trying. And they're like, well, tell us a joke.
You know what? When they
Never mind.
When you should just carry around a little mirror, and they say, tell us a joke, and just put a mirror of them. That's it. Just let them see themselves. I think that would just cut the air.
Tell us a joke. It's so funny. Tell us a joke.
I'm a silent comedian.
I just stare at him. I do the face.
The Megan face.
Well, I did start.
It works.
I did start following Megan off of one of her viral videos. That's how I found her on Instagram.
Which one?
Which one? The fellatio one with her dad?
With my father?
No, it was not that one. That might not have gotten a follow from me, but it was.
I wasn't giving fellatio to my father, just to be clear. This is just a joke.
There were references to fellatio and a close-up of her dad in the background, unaware that there were references to fellatio.
And I was apologizing. Anyway,
you were very apologetic. Sorry.
No, the one was, there was this woman and she was talking about dating, like, you're not going to take me on a walk. I'm not a dog. Like, I won't do coffee dates, blah, 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 blah. And then your reaction was just like, yes, I like this bitch. Like,
I said, I'll do all of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I'll throw in sex.
yes.
She seems fun.
Man, it's like, do you want me to walk on hot coals? Do you want me to walk on a bed of nails? Do you want me to walk? I'm in.
To be honest, I was in a school parking lot that morning, ready to go substitute teach that
weird.
day.
I was like, you're not allowed within 100 yards of a school, Megan. At least, allegedly. Sorry.
Sitting there trying to group myself to go into the building, and I saw her, and I was like, no, I'll do all of that.
I mean,
you could take me for coffee, for drinks. You could take me for drinks and try to take me home. That's fine. She didn't like that.
No.
She seems fun.
She seems so
well,
fun.
thank you. I'm glad you saw that. It makes me happy. And then I just started watching all of your stuff because I was like, oh my God, she's wrestling.
Yeah.
Oh my God, she's
I just followed her and
things.
I started watching all that.
Oh
I was like, bravo.
God, she's acting. She's in costumes. I bet you actually get to speak when you're in front of cameras.
Ew.
Not on shows. They put me in the background. In fact, I wish I had a compilation of all my background acting of how many times they've been like, hey, you. And I'm like, oh, this is it. They're going to ask me to do something. We're going to move you a little over behind the pillar. Go behind the pillar. Just your hair is just not the lights reflecting.
Maybe it's your
funny.
eyebrows.
It's
if you wouldn't have plucked those eyebrows when you were 12.
It's my eyes.
That's what it was.
You know, they have a serious scene and they're panning by and all they see is me in the background.
Listen, your eyebrows have gotten a lot better, like your friend said.
Thank you.
Yeah,
They've gotten, my eyebrow game has been up.
I don't know.
I told my last set, the group people on that set, I was like, I'm not union. I can't get any speaking roles. I can't get anything. And then I showed them what I do to the camera every time I'm in front of it. And they're like, that's why you're not union.
That's why. They're like, were you
been
watching
released from this project?
The Joker?
Yeah.
A little bit too much.
Were you working on a TV show recently?
So I do a lot of work with Axon Taser. They have like a VR training which helps cops decide what to do in certain situations. So they'll have like the point of where they could do this or that or that. So I usually play a cop, which is always fun, but these trainings are obviously like super important. And yeah, so it's fun work. It's good, honest work.
It's like a pick your own adventure
I'm like
training.
Stopping myself from, no, fuck it. I'm like, have you noticed that in the trainings, it leans towards the black person getting shot?
We have had some,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Go ahead.
I mean, they don't discriminate in the trainings, you know, so.
Okay.
The sexual harassment training is a little different. They do intentionally discriminate in those.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. The only time I've ever been recognized, and that's when I was like, I've made it. It was like someone from, Cowtown, Iowa messaged me. He's like, just so you know, I saw you in our company's sexual harassment training videos.
Were you the harasser in the video?
No.
That's poor casting.
I was narrating an example of what it is.
You should have been cast as the harasser. That would have been awesome.
Yeah. And I was like, well, that means I've made it.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. Didn't you just host a comedy show?
Yeah, no one came. Should I say that out loud? I know.
Well, I love how she calls me like the day of, are you coming? And
because I've been posting about it.
Yeah, but
sorry. I'm busy.
I'm busy too, motherfucker.
I did host, and actually, to be honest, the guys I had that I picked, I handpicked these people, and I go see them before I book them because I'm kind of particular, and I do get them gifts, so I try to pay too if I can. But these guys, this was the best comedy show I've done. This was the best comedy I've seen in this town, and it was just us. There was nobody there, and the bartender. And
It's like if a tree falls in the woods and nobody.
I got on stage towards the end, and they all agreed. They were like that, like, because we were all cracking up, laughing and crying, and they're like, that was the best show I've done and seen. And I was like, where was the people? So I need to work on my friendships.
I feel
Well,
like
I mean, you know,
people are so non-committal. Like they'll be like, "Oh, it's like 30 minutes away from my house. I'm not going." I'm just like, "Okay, like really?"
Yeah, that's LA too.
well, Megan knows if I say I'm going somewhere, I am there and
Yeah,
I'm there early.
you'll go there. But
Yeah.
again, so I have my friend in Pasadena. I live in Hollywood, and my group of friends all live in Venice, and that's like an hour drive sometimes to get from Hollywood to Venice. So I can't blame them, but I did not show up to my kickball game on Wednesday because I knew I would say something drunk and angry. Like,
I mean, it's
where were you guys? And I was like, I'm not going to do
it's
it.
kickball. You know,
I take it pretty seriously.
I know that's what makes it. You'd had Christmas kickball.
That's
Sorry.
the closest I get to wrestling. Kickball, adult kickball.
Did you ever get really, really great advice from somebody while you were wrestling? Was there anybody that just kind of took you under their wing and gave you that guidance, or was it like a figure it out yourself kind of thing?
No, I would say everyone in the entire business is usually pretty helpful because we're all trying to elevate it. So if you help someone else, you're elevating the business as a whole. I think there was one quote. He didn't say this to me like directly, but it was from The Rock, and I don't want to missay it, but I think I could word it for it to make sense. But basically saying like, act like every time you go out of the curtain, like you're going to book like your biggest role off of like that performance, so that every performance is like 100%. I mean, obviously you would want every performance to be 100%, but to make sure you're like thinking that in your head, I feel like is key. And that's not like a direct quote from him. It was something like that. So
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, but that is great advice because there is something about, yeah, that's how you should every time, but kind of acknowledging it before, because you don't know, before you could have had somebody cut you off in traffic, so whatever, that left you a little bit sour, and then in that moment to just kind of revisit it and be like, boom, I need to check in with myself and be like, all right, yeah, this is where I need to be, this is what I'm trying to do, and this is what I'm trying to, I guess, give off, right?
Yeah, emit.
I like that.
Sorry, I'm taking some college classes right now. That's like my word game.
I'm like, Emmitt Smith, was that the running back for the Dallas Cowboys, or the Hall of Fame running back for the Dallas Cowboys? By the way, I saw that you were an NFL cheerleader for were the Arizona Cardinals or the Phoenix Cardinals? What were they?
God, what have you not done? Let's start there.
I mean, for real.
The Arizona Cardinals, and then I was a dancer for the Phoenix Suns, so that's probably where that got.
Okay. Oh, got it. Well, got it. That's got it. I mean, first of all, that is everybody. You don't realize how many people are watching you when you are on the sidelines. I have a feeling that more people are paying attention to the cheerleaders a lot of the times than they are to some of the game when I go to an NFL game.
That's just you.
Whatever. Listen, you can't say I'm not hetero.
She was agreeing. Yeah. I always wanted to get in that world somehow, like either by dating somebody or working in the NFL. Like I've applied. I wanted to be in that world since the first like football game I ever saw. I love the NFL.
Yeah,
I can't do it.
My favorite sport too. Well, NFL football.
It is?
Yeah, my favorite to watch. So, and I wanted to break into broadcast. So I was like, if I can be a cheerleader, I could get kind of like, the inside scoop a little bit. But the year I was a cheerleader was the year that the Cardinals went to Super Bowl, which was forever ago. But you can't really top
the Steelers
as a cheerleader. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can't.
I remember I was watching that game in Dallas, Fort Worth. I was in Fort Worth, Texas, watching that game and rooting for the Cardinals. And I was just tired of the Steelers winning. And yeah, you know what? No, now, if I root for your team, they're going to lose in the Super Bowl. So just ask me who I'm rooting for and then bet on the other team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Steelers have it coming to them this year.
Why is that?
Didn't they take my quarterback, and I'm happy.
Russell Wilson, the dead salary of Russell Wilson.
I'm from Colorado, so I'm a big Broncos fan, and I feel like Russell's just stolen the wind out of my sails for the last few years.
Yeah.
I get nothing but shit from people and texts all season long that say Bronco country, let's ride, like all the time.
Like
and
when
I'm
the
done.
Dolphins beat them by like 50 or 60 points last season.
Yeah.
When my team beat the shit out of your team. Sorry, my team is like, and then all of a sudden our coach is like, you know what? We're going to be good people. We're not going to kick that last field goal and break the NFL record for the largest winning
Yeah,
margin. I'm
no.
like, come on, Mike McDaniel.
Even Broncos fans are like, just fucking do it.
Yeah. I mean, us being fans of our team is not fun, but hopefully this year.
Yeah.
It's true. Being an NFL fan or sports fan, you are kind of a masochist, unless you were like a Patriots fan in the early 2000s, or you know what I mean. There's just like a couple of people that, or like a Chicago Bulls fan in the 90s. That's
Yeah.
really kind of it. Any other sports fan, you're just like, yeah, ready to get your ass kicked. We
Yeah.
on a previous show, we had a Hall of Fame NBA player, Tony Parker, on the show. And I can't remember if I asked him on the show or I asked him personally about it afterwards, but I'm not speaking out of turn. But the challenge of having so much of your hard work in the hands of a referee who could make a bad call, or who, sometimes they just miss it. And there's something about that. Did you feel, because you had those storylines in wrestling, at least there wasn't going to be a bad call? You know what I mean? Like no, but it's like you're like, cool. I get that there's a reason behind this, and it makes sense. And it may not be what you agree with, but no referee is making a bad call like they did when the Rams had that pass interference and made it to the Super Bowl. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you can't even compare the two, but obviously a lot of people think professional sports are fixed anyways. So especially being a gambler now, people will say it all the time, of course. I mean, I say it when my bets lose. What else are you going to do? Like, oh, it's fixed. That's why I lost.
I saw you post about Dave & Buster's now allowing people to gamble while you're at Dave & Buster's. Was that bullshit or is that true?
No, it's true. I think you do it through their app, and like you can basically bet your friends through the app, which is like, okay, whatever. I'll just bet you like $10, like hand in hand, but yeah, that's a thing now. I haven't tried it, but
does that take the fun out of Dave & Buster's? Because I'm like, shit, the fun part about Dave & Buster's is just give me some stupid tickets and let me get some dumb fucking, I don't know, little battery powered fan. Like, I don't know, like,
you spend like $500 to get like the fan and a few pieces of candy like after.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. I guess in this sense, you can shame your friends and make money off of them. So there's something to be said about that.
I haven't been to a Dave & Buster's in years.
I have a guilty pleasure. I love Dave & Buster's.
It's fun.
They're super fun.
Yeah.
You go to one? Is there one near you?
Yeah, there is one near me, but my ex had kids, so I would go there like all the time with them. So I feel like I know Dave.
You should have hustled them.
Oh my God.
You should have hustled those kids.
No.
Probably a lot nicer about your ex's kids than mine. That just brought up a whole new topic from no. I had an ex with kids. I don't know. I think they liked me.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I don't know if the feeling was mutual.
You didn't like those children?
What was that?
It depends how old the kids are. Like, what age did you meet them?
Yeah, well, I met them. I think she was 10 and he was 8. And then I left them 5 years later. So that was a pretty crucial time period in their life. But I shouldn't say that. I took them places. People would make jokes like they get along with you so well because you're closer to their age but than you are to their dad. But it was hard. It's hard when they're not your kids. They would like eat with their mouths open, and I didn't like that. But it's hard to vocalize that, and they're just kids, but they're not mine. And then when I would babysit, and if they were doing something wrong, I couldn't really tell them it was just weird.
Yeah,
it was weird.
When did you end up babysitting your doctor's kids?
It was years ago. This was years. I was like late 20s. So
was he like out with his mistress and you're like, I'm going to babysit your kids?
No, he was working and it was summer and I was teaching and I had the summers off and his ex and him. I actually got along with his ex better than I got along with anybody, to be honest with you. But dating someone with kids is hard. I'm assuming you got along with the kids just fine.
I did. But I mean, I met them when they were like very young, like 2 and like a baby. So it's so different. You know what I mean? Like I kind of grew up with them as well, but Yeah, I don't think I would ever date someone with kids again, even though we're at that age where it's like, not a lot of people are left that don't have kids, but
Right.
I don't want to do it
No,
again.
I'm on your page. Yeah, I'm on your page. I did it then. I've experienced that. Not my cup of tea. Not my
No,
thing. They were nice kids. If they ever listen to my podcast, I liked them. I'm just joking.
I
It was your
don't.
dad that was an asshole.
I don't believe you.
Anyway,
It was your dad that was an
we
asshole.
went off on lots of tangents. I like talking to you. Thank you. Girl time.
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys are like each other's therapists. It's
I
pretty
know
great.
this was good. Usually I'm just really quiet.
I mean, it's just alcohol. It's fine.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. God damn it. So if fans want to connect with you, obviously follow you on Instagram at Danielle Kamela. But is there another way fans can connect with you and kind of follow along in your journey?
That's honestly the easiest way. I feel like Instagram's my favorite social media platform, so that's the easiest way for me. I am on Twitter/X a little bit, but not as much as I used to be. So
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm not on Twitter that much anymore either.
I mean, I used to be, and then
Sorry, it's X.
oh, that's whatever. It's fucking terrible. You know what I've noticed on Twitter is, or what I'm not gonna fucking call it X. What I've noticed on Twitter is
Sounds like
I
an old
don't
man.
follow Elon Musk, and I start getting notifications for all his shit.
Me too.
I blocked that motherfucker, and now I'm waiting to see if I keep getting notifications for that fool. And mind you, I can't take it back. I own a Tesla. I probably wouldn't get another one now because fuck that guy. I'm just done with him. But yeah, I'm just kind of anyway. So has everybody gotten the Elon Musk like just shit pop up on your feed?
yeah, and like honestly, if I were him, I would do the same thing. I'd be like, I don't care if these people block me; they're gonna hear from me. This is my
Well, yeah,
ex.
True.
when you've
You're
already
right.
ruined a perfectly good thing with a bunch of money, might as well force people to listen to you, I guess, or see your shit.
Yes.
Are these your rapid fire
Yeah.
to close out?
Yes.
I like them. Sorry. No, I didn't because I was nauseous and I drove here. So we have some fun rapid fire and then we're done with you. No, I'm just joking. That sounds really
we are
aggressive.
done with you after the rapid fire.
Done with y'all. I should say something like you can go back to your life without us. Or
Yeah,
is that
absolutely.
nicer?
You can go back to planning when you're going to hang out with us in the fall. That's
Okay,
what it is.
perfect.
Oh,
Yeah,
please, Megan, after you.
You want me to do the first one?
Go for it.
If you could wrestle any food item, what would it be and why?
a hot dog because that's my my favorite food, and I just feel like it'd be an easy shape to take down.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, Shake Shack's my hot dog go-to when I'm in a bind. If I really want a hot dog, do you have a hot dog go-to?
I mean, every sporting event, I will get a hot dog, so no matter what. But I don't have a hot dog place, so I'll try Shake Shack. Shake Shack.
Yeah, I will tell you, I haven't eaten a hot dog in a minute because the last time I ate one was a Dodger dog, and it was not the best idea. Yeah, I did not feel well within like 2 hours of having it, and it was no bueno. So I've been apprehensive now. But yesterday I was at the I was in Carson here in like the Torrance area of LA, and I went to an Arsenal that's not a gun. It's a soccer team from London. I went to the Arsenal friendly match, and people were eating like Nathan's hot dogs, and fuck, they smelled so good. Nathan's hot dogs are so freaking good. Anyway,
are you gonna do the next
oh
one?
sure, I'll do the next one. Why not? All right. What's the weirdest thing you've eaten right before a match?
Weirdest thing. Shit.
You ate shit?
Don't
before
do
a match?
that.
No,
Don't
that's
do
not a good
that. That's not
Should not have slid that shit in there.
bad shit input.
Candy. I usually eat candy before every match, but that's not weird. So sorry to disappoint. It's
No, but, okay, what candy?
the sweet tart ropes, the nerds ropes, literally anything anyone has.
Okay, like if you were eating candy corn, that'd be weird because people don't eat candy corn to begin with, or Peeps. So if you were eating Peeps or candy corn, then that would be weird. But okay, that's fair.
Candy corn.
You do?
Yeah, I wouldn't eat it before a match, but I eat it during Halloween.
Fast forward the amount of candy corn that just starts getting shipped to any PO box affiliated with Danielle after this show. All right.
If your wrestling persona had a signature cocktail, what would it be called, and what would it be?
Ooh, a signature cocktail. it would definitely be like an extra, extra dirty martini.
Yes.
And I guess I would just call it the D-Teeny. I wrestle under my name right now, so it'd just be the D-Teeny.
The D-Teeny.
I like that. That's a good one. All right. So, which food would you choose to use as a weapon in the ring? Like I don't know, a giant salami, massive baguette. Like what would be your weapon of choice if it was food in the ring?
Dang, those are both two really good choices.
Not a hot dog.
Have to be. I'm sorry, you gave me like too good of an idea, but salami, like one of those.
Okay.
Yeah, just
Yeah. No.
would do
Great.
a giant T-bone steak.
Oh,
Oh, like a tomahawk. I like that, Megan. I would use a dead fish.
What a waste.
I'd fucking beat you with a dead fish.
Like a swordfish?
Something smelly. That's what I would hit you with. Yeah, fuck you. I'm gonna hit you with some smelly ass fish. All right.
All right, last one. What's your guilty pleasure snack after a night out?
After a night out, pizza rolls. I've been doing it since college. So.
Ooh. Wait, oh my god, what's that brand? Oh, fuckity fuck. Those little
Totino's?
Yeah, is that the
We knew.
Oh,
We knew.
those are so gangster. Oh, those are so good. Danielle, Kamela, you have been nothing but a pleasure and a joy to have on Kill the Bottle podcast. We try to end any episode with a guest the same way. The only thing we don't get back in life is time, and we want to acknowledge you and thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with Megan and I here on Kill the Bottle podcast. Folks at home, please follow at Danielle Kamela on Instagram. That's Danielle with 2 L's and Kamela with a K. So please follow her on Instagram, and please like, subscribe, rate, and review Kill the Bottle podcast. Let us know that you are listening. We appreciate you so much. Check it out and see you next week.
Bye.
Hi, guys.
Yeah.
You should probably press stop.
Stop. It's never going to stop.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for taking the time, Danielle. It was super fun.
Yeah, of course. It was really fun. I can't wait to listen to it back.
By the way, I love your Monopoly little posters back there. Those are awesome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Inspiration.
Failure.
I love your bottles back there. They're great.
It's my home speakeasy. What are you gonna do?
Oh, that's so
Sorry,
cool.
it's a speakeasy. It's not in my house. It's somewhere else. Thank you so much. We appreciate you for real.
Thank
Yeah.
you,
Talk
guys.
soon. Thank you.
Yes. Bye.